Hi friends, Shannon here, creative crew member with Katscrappiness, and I'm also known as Cards by Shannon Lee on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. If you would like to look me up and see what I'm making these days. Today I am going to create a 3D pop-up box with the Katscrappiness 3D pop-up box dies. This is the main portion. It creates the background of your card, and then these flaps fold up. Then it comes with 3 levels that I'll show you in more detail, or I'll explain in more detail how these work. I'm not going to be using these today. What I'm going to use are the grass add-on, and there are 3 different sizes. Each one is a little bit, one is tall, there's a medium, and then a smaller with the grass border. That's what I'm going to use with the pop-up. Did I say it's called the grass add-on for 3D pop-up card? And then this is going to be a Halloween card. I know it's not Halloween yet, but I was really in the mood for making a sunset scene, kind of a night scene, so I pulled out my Halloween dies. So we're going to use the Crafter's Essential Halloween. And yeah, so let me get all my stuff together and we'll get started. To do my night scene, or my night background, sunset-ish looking background, I'm going to use Distress Oxides in Victorian Velvet, Seedless Preserves, Chip Sapphire, and Black Soot. Starting with the Victorian Velvet, I'm going to have the largest grass add-on in the back. So I'm just going to eyeball it to see approximately where I need to start my ink blending. I'll keep that there on the side for a second. And ink up my brush. And I'm going to start from the bottom since my ink is a little heavy on my brush right now. Get some of that ink off of there and then swirl it around. One of the great things about oxides, the Distress Oxides, are they blend very easily. I'm going to bring in my lid so I can tap off my lid so the ink's not so heavy. And then, since this is my first color, bring that up, but I want to make sure that I leave enough room for the rest of the colors. What I was saying is, one of the great things about oxides are they blend beautifully. If you are a beginner at ink blending and have had difficulties with other types of ink, I can almost guarantee, it takes a lot less practice, the oxides. You can get a better blend with less practice. Let me see. One thing I do recommend, if you do buy the oxide inks, that you invest in the reinkers, because a juicy ink pad will make for a much smoother blend. Okay, so here we go with the first color. It's stuck. That grip mat is sticky. Okay, so the next color is Seedless Preserves. Let me find my purple brush and ink up my brush. I'm going to tap this off on my lid, take off some of the excess ink, and then I'm going to start off pretty lightly, not putting very much pressure down at all, because I have all that juicy ink on my blending brush. Overlapping the previous color, and then gradually start getting a little more pressure. And then after you do that the first time and you've got some ink down, you don't have to be quite as careful with your second layer. One thing about the oxides is if you do get any kind of little splotches, they are very easy to blend out. And I really love this box card. It is so versatile. If you like scene cards, this box card is ideal for the scenes. There are add-ons with waves, the grass that I've shown you, and I believe there's hillsides also. And then it comes with the regular flat, just the rectangles. And I'll show you how I put those together. Set that one aside, and I'm going to speed this up. My next color is going to be Chip Sapphire. What I am going to do is I'm going to add the Chip Sapphire overlapping the Seedless Preserves and going all the way to the top, and then I'm going to come in with my black. Oh, I forgot. I'm also going to bring some of the Chip Sapphire over the rest of the purple area, and some of the black over the purple area also to deepen and darken it up to give it a more night feel. But this is my favorite kind of sunsetish looking, ooh, this is juicy. I just regained this. My favorite sunset combination. I need a piece of paper to make sure this is not too inky. I'm just going to test this off here. I think we're going to be okay. Okay, let's see. You're in my way, guy. I need my little silicone paw. There we go. Ooh, that is juicy. Oh my goodness, it is very juicy. That is really wet. Well, one thing is too much ink. There's no such thing as too much ink when it comes to ink blending, unless you don't have enough ink on the layers below it. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't ruin this. Let's see. There's another product that I'm going to share with you that has become my new favorite for splatter. It's the Katscrappiness. It's called, let me show you. It's called Shimmer Paint in Iridescent White, and it is beautiful. If you like all the sparkly things, and you like splatter, or even just like the paint, this will be a new friend of yours. Okay, now that I've got most of the ink off of this, I'm going to bring it down on the other colors, deepen those up, and add some more ink. Tap this off on my little towel here, make sure I don't have too much. Darken that up a little bit more at the top. A good thing about these grip mats is on the opposite side of the card, it will remain white because that's where I'm going to write my greeting. Though I don't have a particular person in mind for this card yet. Probably send it to one of my grandchildren for Halloween. That's what I do with my Halloween cards. They're basically for my grandchildren. Instead of giving them candy, we give them some money. Okay, I'm going to speed this up and finish off with the Black Soot. push record. What I'm doing here is with some black soot dye distress ink, not the oxide, this is the ink. I'm doing some detail on my trees for my spooky scene, and using the mini blending brushes, also by Katscrappiness, and all I'm doing is going along the outside edge and then the bottom edge of the branches. Ink up my brush, go into the bottom of the branch, and this does two things. It's going to give us a little bit of darker color, a shadow of sorts, and it's also going to get all those little die-cut hairs. Those drive me crazy. Okay, so just going along. I'm going to speed this up while I do the detail blending, so this video isn't a million miles or a million hours long. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I do read all the comments and will answer any questions that you have. If you have questions about card making, ink blending, etc., go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you. With the same black soot distress ink, I'm going to create some shadows on the grass by inking up my blending brush, and then I'm going to place my blending brush down and swipe it towards the bottom of my die cut. And what it's going to do is each of those blades of grass is going to catch the bristles of the brush, and when I'm doing like a curved motion, so when I lift up, it's creating almost like a shadow from each of the blades of grass. So I'm just going to do this to deepen and darken up our grass because it is a night scene. And then with the remaining ink that's on my brush, I'm going to just lightly go over the bottom here, darken that up a bit. Oops, little die cut hairs everywhere. Okay, there's that. And I've already done the other two grass die cuts. Now with some frayed burlap distress ink, I'm going to add some detail to this tombstone. And I'm just with the edge, I've inked up the top of my bristles, but I'm going to take the edge of my brush and just go back and forth over the little cut lines, the cracks of the tombstone. And then we'll also go on the outside of the tombstone to deepen and darken it up just a little bit. And when the edge of my bristles run out of ink, I just twist my brush like this to find a inkier area of my bristles. And then with the remaining ink, come around the outside edges. And each of those little cracks in the outside, I'm using the edge of my brush to emphasize that. And we'll do that the same with the kind of pedestal of the tombstone, or the bottom area from the outside. Turn that around. Emphasize these chips in the side. Twist my brush. And then finish off the rest of the outside of it. And then with the ink that's left on my brush, I'm just going to go over my little jack-o'-lantern here. I've already done that on one of them, but I'll finish it up. It's just going to make it so it's not so stark orange. Kind of darken that up a little bit. I'm not going to try to do any detail because it's so small that I might have a hard time with that. There we go. I'm going to clean this up and we'll be right back and we'll put together our card. I almost forgot to add the shimmer paint. Okay, shimmer paint in iridescent white. I'll show you what it looks like when it's dry. This is my little tester starting. If you can, I hope you can see the sparkles. It's amazing. I love this stuff. It's almost like stickles in a paint. It dries. It's called iridescent white, but I think there's like maybe a little bit of white sparkle in it, but it's not white paint. It dries clear. So I'm going to wet my brush with some water, and then I'm going to get some water. Then I'll add some water to my little acrylic block here from my brush, and then I'll take some of the paint with my paintbrush, and this is just a cheap fan brush that I'm using, and I'm going to scrape it on the edge and flick it across the area that I want the splatters to be. And so those will be like stars or night sky. I love this stuff so much. Good stuff. Let me clean this up and then we'll put our card together. For each of the grass add-ons I've done with the two smaller, I've added strong double-sided tape on the front facing tabs. There are score lines right along here. They're probably about 1/3 of an inch in on each side, and that shows you where you're going to bend. So you want to put your score tape on the outside of that line on each side, and that's for the two of the smaller grassy borders. Then on the larger grassy border, what I've done with those two tabs is I've cut them off, and I'm going to glue this to the very back of my scene here. And what I did was, not only did I cut it off at the tab, but I cut off a smidge on each side extra, so that when the box card is folded up, because there are score lines on each side, these little wings fold up, there needs to be room for it to bend with the grass in there. So I had to cut off a smidge extra than just at the score lines. So now I'm going to glue this down, and we're going to create our scene in the back. Line that up with the bottom and in between those score lines of those wings. And we'll bring in some trees. And you want to make sure that anything that you adorn your box with, you don't want to cross that score line. So, and also if you want it to fit into an A2 envelope, you don't want it to come past the top of the box or the top of the cardstock there. When I create cards like this, I like to have the stuff kind of peek out the top. So what I'll do is use an A6 envelope so that my card will fit. So I'm going to let the tree poke out a little bit of the top of the card. I'll make sure it doesn't go over too far to the right. A little bit of glue popping out there. And then our second tree. I'll do this one a little bit lower. And we'll take one of our tombstones and put this in the back here. And our moon. I forgot the moon. And we'll have our moon poking up a little bit also. I may actually have to use a 5x7. It may be a little bit bigger since I have the moon poking up so far. But I like the way it looks. And we have bats. All of these items are included in the Crafters Essentials Halloween die set. I think we'll just perch that bat on the tree. And this one, oh, there's no room for him to fly. Oh, I think we'll have him fly over the moon. There we go. Okay, then we're going to fold in our wings here and press those down. There we go. Just to reinforce the score. And also on the grass, we're going to fold those back just to reinforce those scores. Make sure they are straight though. This one I didn't bend straight. I need my folder. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, that's very crooked. That's better. Okay, now starting with the back or the medium size grass border, we're going to remove the double-sided tape release paper. We're going to lay this flat and have it so that the edge of the border is right at the score line of the back of your card, and we're going to press that down and it will grab that tape, and then we'll do the same thing once again. I think I made a mistake, but I shall rectify it. Okay. I think what I have to do now is just fold that and put it all the way forward on the box. Do you see how I did that? Now, with bending everything to the left, we're going to remove the release paper from the other two sides, or the other two, yeah, the opposite sides of the borders. And then when we lay this down, it will grab it, and there is our box. And we can finish it up with our pumpkins, our tombstones, and also have this fence that I want to add to it, but we'll do that last. So let's see, where will we put these? Let's put one in front and one in the middle. There we go. Oops, it slipped. There we go. And it saves enough room for me to use a sentiment strip in the front. And I'll put this away so we can add our other tombstone in the middle. I'm going to flip this around. The middle row of grass. Get my fingers in there so I can push it down. There we go. Oops, it slid when I pushed it down. There we go. And then I think I'm only going to use one pumpkin. We'll use that. Where should we put the pumpkin? Here? Yeah, let's put it Sorry if my head's getting in the way. Leaning over to make sure I have room. Whoopsie, don't put glue everywhere. We'll put the little pumpkin in the middle. And so now for the fence, I think we'll cut this off. I'm going to go right up the middle of this post. And then cut right at the ends of that one. And then I can glue this on the front. Let me double check this, my sizing. Oh, that doesn't make sense. I gotta put the fence in the back. You know what? I think I'm gonna put the fence on the back. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the fence on the back with a pumpkin. And write my greeting there. Because if I put it over, my plan was to put it over here, but I don't want to cover up this tombstone. So yeah, we're going to go with the fencing on the back. Okay. If you haven't already, I appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Us at Scrappiness, we truly appreciate all the support we get from this crafty community. And let's see, little die cut hairs. Ah, there's lots of them. Okay, press that down. And then my little pumpkin. Or my jack-o'-lantern. There we go. So I don't have my sentiments for this card yet, but there is a Halloween sentiment set that's all in one stamp. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Give me a second. I'll be right back with that information. Okay, so the sentiment set is Simple Sentiments Halloween Edition. There's also a Valentine Edition and an original Simple Sentiments, and each one of them is one full stamp, and then there is a die that matches all three sets that you can use to cut out all the sentiments. And then I take a little baggie and I put my little extra sentiments in with my stamp set. So now I have sentiments all ready for a card, and I'll pick one. I think we'll put, let's see, let's give them pumpkin to talk about. That sounds fitting, doesn't it? Since I do have the jack-o'-lantern. Okay, here we go. Line that up. Sorry if my head is getting in the way. Just trying to make sure this is straight. My border. There we go. I think so. Ah, good enough. So there's my card. Thank you very much for watching. And bye for now.